Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 90 of our stay in place order. Um, yeah, so day 90, milestone, 3 months of shelter in place. We're going to be here for a while. I knew I'd get to day 90, I think. Um, how is everybody doing? Let's see who's out there with me this morning. There we go. Just kind of, there we go. Follower count starting to come up. All right. So, more cases in the county. We're up to 50 or 45, or yeah, something like that. Seems like it's going up one every day, at least a couple every day. Every day this week we've had an increase, and the more testing they do, 7 cases still are not fully are still under investigation. Definitely have county spread. I know it's not a lot, and I don't, I say this every day. I don't want to hear about the 100,000 cases and only 50. I don't care. There's only one. Our governor, like him or not, has issued a mandatory mask. You can see a kitten climbing up the cage behind me. A mandatory mask order. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? That has been introduced. So, because if you go to like Williams, nobody's wearing masks. There's certain parts of the state where there's nobody wearing masks. So, as we move around a little bit, which we're not supposed to, we're finding that people are not just wearing their masks. So I think wearing the mask is one of the basic things we can do to protect each other from this virus. It's not like AIDS. It's not like, AIDS was considered a pandemic back in the early 80s. And sorry, but there was only one way you caught AIDS. And yeah, and we're going to leave that alone. But this one here, man, you can catch it just, going to the grocery store. So it's a little bit different than AIDS. Definitely a lot different. Because you can't get it that way too. But today's a lot of people aren't aware of this, and I usually refrain from posting this today in history just because it was very controversial. Right now it's very relevant. Happy Juneteenth. What that is on July 19th, 1865, the final piece of the puzzle of slavery was abolished, and that was Texas. Texas held out as long as they could. The Emancipation Proclamation and the 14th Amendment were 2 years prior. But Texas was not abiding by that. They were keeping to the traditions. And then, the Civil War officially ended about a month prior to this, when the last general finally signed off and agreed to, a surrender. And that at that point, good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Susan. So on this day in 1865, that was the last of slavery, and it's been coined Juneteenth. I don't know the exact origin of why it was coined that, but it's never been a major holiday. It's never been a national holiday. I personally think it should be. I think we should do away with these ethnic months that that were. I understand the pride thing and all that, and I get it. The abolishment of slavery was a big deal. I mean, a seriously big deal. But Texas held out to the last minute until they couldn't anymore, and they were being threatened by the U.S. government to come in and basically take over. So, that being said, happy Juneteenth Day. So, good morning, Mom. How you doing? Hi. More COVID cases. Day 90. Here we are, day 90 in our little stay-in-place order. Man, I can't believe we got to day 90. This is a milestone. Yes, thank God it's Friday. Showing property this weekend, showing property today. So the temperatures are going to rise. Try to stay in and stay healthy. You know, stay cool because it's going to be. We're talking triple digits next week, and yeah, you know, it's one of those deals. Um, More cases in the county, definitely community spread. Mandatory now, you got to wear your masks, um, which I always thought it was, but now it's an official state order instead of just a county order. Because you know the counties can go stricter, but they can't go lax any of the government of the regulations. So, according to Dr. Fauci, we're still in the first wave, which is scary because if they expect a second wave, which they do, they're expecting it in like September, October. And let's just pray that we can all be good and practice our social distancing. Some of the cases that are new are from graduation parties, and ceremonies where we all got together. And it was scary though. Is like 43% of the cases are people under 34, which usually I've noticed that it wasn't really that big of a trend for those people, those age groups. 7 of the cases, I believe, are under 18. So this goes to show you, all age groups are affected by this virus. So let's just kind of keep it under control. Anyways, so I'm gonna let you all go. I wanted to give you a little history lesson. I don't know if China is or not. I'm not watching the news. I decided, Susan, that I was not going to watch the news anymore. You watch CNN and it's fucking one side, and you watch Fox News, it's another freaking side. So I'm really skeptical on how I get my news at this point because it doesn't make any sense why news has got to be so biased. You know, when I was watching CNN during the riots, I was watching this reporter at CNN. I think they were in Atlanta, and it was like there at that time it was like almost 11 o'clock at night, 2 hours past the curfew. The lady's interviewing this protester, and this African American gentleman walks by right behind her in the camera, makes eye contact with the camera, makes eye contact with the reporter. He's all dressed in black and carrying a black sledgehammer. Why did not reporter just stop right there and turn around and said, "Sir, why are you carrying that sledgehammer?" She didn't. So at that point, I'm like, I'm done with media. I'm done with media. I am not dealing with media any longer because it's all bias. I tend to believe more from CNN than I do MSNBC or Fox News. They're a little more science-based, but they're still way over on this side. And then you got other ones that are way over here. And it's like, where's the middle ground? Well, you know, what happened to Walter Cronkite? When you watch the news back in the 70s, they didn't sugarcoat nothing. They weren't biased. They didn't, those news, you know, the news was the news. You were reporting what's happening in the world, not the only things you want to report that are happening in the world. So we got to get back to that. We got to get back to some solid, fact-checking reporting. And until then, I'm not watching the news. I'm gonna just pick and choose what I see in break news and a couple of the internet news feeds because they seem to be a little bit more, a little better in the reporting. So, yeah, I believe China is having an upsurge. I heard Korea was, and You're right, Kelly. There's no middle ground. There's got to be some middle ground. I believe all this Black Lives Matter and all that whole rioting. That's all Democrat. And then you have the COVID's not real, and we're all being scammed. That's all Republican. So where do we meet in this? Obviously, this virus is real. To what degree? Who knows? We already know it's less than 1% of contagious. Or you have a 1% chance of getting it. Less than that, 0.1. 0.1. So this is ridiculous. I don't feel as unsafe now going to the store like I did in the very beginning. Man, I come home and wash the clothes that I wore and take a shower, and I don't kind of do that anymore. I kind of got into the habit of not touching anything in the store unless I'm buying it. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. My wife goes out there, bless her soul, goes out there every day and comes in direct contact with lots of people maybe not hundreds, but dozens of people every day. And so, I run that risk, and we all run that risk in my household, but she's an essential. I think that this was really something that blew up in the very beginning because it probably hit us a month before we actually did anything about it. And it was here a month before we ever did anything about it. How ignorant can we be to think that you're having this major viral problem over in China, that it wouldn't make it here? Not only did it start in China, but it made it all over the world. And everybody's trying to fight this pandemic. And, you have Dr. Fauci, bless his soul, is, he's such a nice man. But then you see YouTube videos of how bad what he used to do. So I'm so torn. What's real and what's not. And coming up from former newspaper person, I agree with you. All are reporting in the U.S. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, and it should be illegal. The freedom of the press. I understand the freedom of the press. I get that, but the freedom of the press should be able to print the truth, not their perception of the truth, and only one side of the story. You got to present both sides of the story. And we're not getting both sides of the story in any of this. There's still protesting going on. There's still looting and rioting going on. We have people, areas that are defunding their police department. Now, I've read a little bit about this defunding of the police departments. It's not an uncommon thing. And what they do is they defund it and they restructure it and then put it back into place. Now, police officers, most of the time they're military. Most of the time they come out of the military, they're MPs or something like that. And I know a lot of police officers, I know a lot of sheriffs in this county. I know almost all of them. And they're all good guys. I don't think our area has the problem. But I think as any other professional type business type scenario, lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, CPAs, we all have to be licensed. And I think a licensing situation where it requires extra training. I know they do get training. I see them down at the old River Valley School all the time, doing trainings and drills and all that kind of stuff. But I think a licensing system would be a good way to start. But I can tell you, there's bad agents out there, the real estate agents, and we're licensed. It happens all the time. So I don't think there's any way possible that we can to just weed out the bad apples and know that get rid of them. I think that the only way you weed them out is to have a problem. I don't think psychologically you can do it. I don't think there's any real way without violating their constitutional rights. So it's going to be interesting how that all plays out. So, hey, we got some Talladega this weekend, Susan. Starting tomorrow in Xfinity, and then yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, that's my favorite day of the year, and it's on Father's Day. So my son asked me what I wanted to do for Father's Day, and I said I'm watching Talladega. Oh, you don't want to go do something fun? I said, well, you can watch Talladega with me. So I bet you he don't. He's not a gearhead like his father at all. At all. Yeah, he may look like me, but he's not me. He's his own little person, which is I'm glad, because last thing we need is two of me. All right, guys. So I'm out. So have a good enjoy your Friday. We're looking forward to a great weekend, and it's gonna be hot. Stay indoors. There you go. Elbow bump. Live long and prosper. Stay home. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And wear your mask, because now it's mandatory. Love you guys. Bye.